Welcome to Shades of Us. I'm your host, Darryl Brown. Shades is a show that explores multicultural identities and how they intersect. This time, we're coming to you from outside the Mark Morris Dance Center here in New York City. Sites like these are often the location where multiracial groups showcase works of choreographers and dancers from diverse backgrounds. Dance has many forms and styles, especially when it comes to ethnic origins. Its representations gives insight into a particular culture's tradition and identity. We'll tell you more about 4 specific dances right after this. According to Greek philosopher Plato, dance of all the arts is the one that most influences the soul. Dancing is divine in its nature and is the gift of God. Considering that Greek dance has been a part of the cultural zeitgeist for over 2,000 years, it makes sense that many Greek Americans participate in it as a way to connect to their roots and to each other, including this wellness brand creator and Greek dance instructor.
It feels to me, especially the older that I get, that it really comes from the soul. When you're doing it, it's hard to be doing anything but that. My name's Christina Hedrick, and I'm a Greek dance teacher, yoga and meditation teacher, and copywriter in New York City. I got into Greek dance the way a lot of Greek Americans do. So for context, I'm half Greek, born and raised in Virginia, and I grew up in a Greek church community in Virginia, Newport News, that had a really robust, big tradition of Greek dance. So I wanted to Greek dance from a very young age. It wasn't something I had to be convinced to do. I have loved it since I was teeny tiny, and I got into it just that way through the church. We use the word the church, but really the churches function as these community centers in a lot of America. So I say Greek dancing at the church. There's really nothing to do with the church, but that was the community center next to the church where we did all of our Greek American activities, going to learn how to speak Greek, doing Greek school, Greek dance, all these things. We actually started competing as a group when I was little. So in the US, there's this huge culture of Greek folk dance competitions, which is as funny and interesting as it might sound. And so I actually grew up going with a church group. So when you compete, you don't compete as an individual, you compete as a group. So when we say Greek dancing, the country of Greece is a very modern idea. We're talking about people who lived in different regions that for most of history weren't even Greece. So someone from northern Greece would have never seen or had anything to do most likely with someone from the island of Crete. And their dancing is totally different. The instruments are different, the musicality, all of it's completely different. So at a competition, for example, say you're doing a set from Epirus, northern Greece. And you're not only gonna say we're doing from Epirus, you're gonna say which village or which area. You'll present research sort of backing up why you're doing, and then you'll be judged on, the styling, is it correct? The costumes, all of it. I really find Greek dance to be not only special, but also simply fun compared to other forms of dance, is that it's this real communal experience. And I could preface that by saying I did grow up also dancing ballet and doing more sort of formal Western forms of dance. And there could be a lot of emphasis on perfectionism there versus with Greek dance. Okay, if you're competing, there's still, things can get intense and there can be a lot of emphasis on perfectionism as well. But it's a shared experience. You're never really out there alone. You're holding hands with people, you're forced to look at each other. It's a nice balm for, I think, our hyper-individualistic modern times that are also very techy. I had been living in New York City for a while, and I was missing having a group like the one I grew up with. I was just doing the classes on my own whenever I had the bandwidth, and then people started coming to me both for privates, to get ready for weddings, or to get a little more stylistically in tune with something. I started doing those open level classes actually under the umbrella of Yamas, so that's kind of how I got my name out there as a teacher, and just gave myself permission to start teaching. There's no accreditation program for Greek dance, right? You kind of just start doing it or think you know enough, but with Yamas, the reason I connect it to health is, well, it's many-fold. Greek dance is a workout. I say this all the time. If you dance Cretan for a long time, you're going to sweat. One of the most special things about it is how it gives you this ethnographic history lesson of Hellenic people. You can learn a lot about the people. I mean, the costumes are just laden with meaning. Every single thing tells a story, has meaning. So it's very nuanced, and I get a little upset when people are like, teach me the Zorba movie dance, that's Greek dance, let's break plates. I'm like, I've never broken a plate in my life, to be completely honest with you, at least on purpose. If that brings you joy, great. But to me, that's not what I'm here to teach and share, and I think it really waters down this actually incredibly nuanced, beautiful, rich thing that tells the story of people in this land for thousands of years. There's a lot I could say that I've learned about myself through dance. I both know way more than I think I know, and I know nothing. And it's this wonderful paradox. I find a lot of times these things come out of me that I've learned over the years, because again, I've been doing this since I was 4, and I do a lot of independent research, and I have days where I'm like, wow, I really know so much about this, and I'm so excited to share it. The other side of it is that then I realize how little I know when I talk to experts, or you talk to someone who's written a thesis on one specific region. I'm deeply humbled constantly that I have so much more to learn, and I hope to be a lifelong student of this, because there's always more to learn.
Hip hop, house, breakdance. New York City holds claim to many different forms of street dance. Here's a style that originated in East New York, Brooklyn, and it's known as Flexen.
Flexen is a culture of dance. Flexen doesn't have a particular look because it's really an expression of who you are, as far as being free as a dancer. The name Flexen came from a show called Flexen Brooklyn that used to air on BCAT on Channel 68, like every Friday night at 9. A lot of the dancers that danced in the show, we were all doing a style called the Bruck Up. Bruck Up is a person, number one. George Adams, that's his name. He's the guy who invented the Bruck Up. Bruck Up is pretty much the Jamaican terms in patois called broke up. You broke, you're broke in certain ways. Through Bruck Up, we had that foundation and said, you know what, can we create and be our own person? You know what I'm saying? That's when we started to become who we are. You don't have to be double jointed to be a flexor at all. It's all a stretch. You can take yoga and then you'll probably be able to do some flexing moves. Even if you have something that's really weird with you, like maybe one leg is shorter than the other leg, like that's all part of flexing. You're not looked at as a misfit. You look at as somebody powerful now because you know how to use what you have to the best of your ability. The styles of flexing are pausing, bone breaking, gliding, connecting, get low, punchlines, and hat tricks. My style is called pausing. Now, pausing is a style that I came up with because I got beat really bad in a battle. This guy named Iggy, he did me really bad, and I wanted to stop dancing, like, yo, this is it. So it's like, okay, cool. I just want to come up with something that's just gonna just kill everything that he ever did. We used to watch videos of ourselves going, playing rewind and forward, back and forth, just to see how we look. And I'm just watching it like, yo, I said, y'all gonna dance like that? And then I put on this beat. It was the Headrick rhythm. I remember like it was yesterday, and it was just a do 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 do. So I'm hearing this beat, and I'm like, nah. And I'm just trying to hit it. I became more obsessed with beats and trying to hit beats the right way. So that's where it came from. Like, it was just that motivation, that creativity, and what he did to make me do what I do. Flex tunes is music pretty much mostly in a Jamaican form, Jamaican music, reggae, dancehall reggae to be more specific. We used to make tapes, and our tapes used to have all this music in it. So we started manipulating the music more and more. So that started becoming flex tunes because it was just always manipulating the music. The Dream Ring is dance rules everything around me. That's the acronym for DREAM. I am the CEO and creator. I wanted to create something in Brooklyn for flex dancers that want to really come out and dance in a group or a team and be team oriented. It's 2011 since we've actually started. We've been to Manchester, we've been to Paris, I've been to Italy working with some of my dancers from the Ringmasters, back and forth to Cali, Atlanta, and then we created this show called Flexen that was in the Park Avenue Armory. We actually did it with a director. His name is Peter Sellers. Peter is a great visionary. He came with this concept of saying, you know, let's do something about the juvenile justice system. We started tackling political issues, things that started surrounding Eric Garner, Michael Brown, in that situation. And it's something that was pretty much on the hearts of some flexers. And then from there, me and Peter started collaborating on everything else. I love him to death. Like, he's a mentor, and he's really put me on a path to a different light and to upgrade my career. In life, D.R.E.A.M helps dancers to be better people, as far as helping someone, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, not just to be all about you, being able to help the dancers, honestly. I think that's my motivation. That is what keeps me going. The fact that the dancers actually have a platform to grow, to be different people, to be better people. And I do this for the love. I love dancing. And I'm like, yo, I want to do that for somebody else too. Why not give that gift back?
Mazel tov! Meet a choreographer who mixes traditional and modern Jewish dance forms to give insight into his Jewish culture.
My name is Alexander Rudoy. I am a choreographer, a dancer, performer in many different styles, but specifically in Jewish dance. So Jewish dance is interesting in terms of you use your hands, you use your shoulders, a little bit of this, a little bit of sprinkle in the eye, and that's a part of the Jewish vibe. I was born in Lviv, which is a western part of Ukraine, which makes me an Ashkenazi. Living in Ukraine, we didn't have a chance to be in contact with Jewish culture as much because it used to be Soviet Union. You didn't have a chance to practice Judaism or practice anything that's Jewish. As soon as we had the chance to explore it through people coming from Israel, opening up synagogues and exposing us to more culture, Jewish culture, dancing, songs. It was very dear. When I was about 10 or 11 years old, there was this Jewish dance company opening up. This company was called Mazel Tov Dance Company. The person who has opened it was a choreographer of a major folk dance company in Ukraine. In Lviv. We created, thanks to Michael Smirnov, attracted many dancers, and the name of the company means happiness. When people are drinking at the wedding, they scream Mazel Tov. When Mazel Tov opened up, I had a chance to learn all of the styles of Jewish dancing, and we had teachers coming in from different countries, specifically Israel, to teach us Israeli dance and to teach us dances, Jewish dances from all over the world. When I finally immigrated to United States, I brought all my knowledge with me and I wanted to use it and I wanted to show it and I wanted to share it. I have studied the most Ashkenazi type of dance, to klezmer music from this region. And the language that came from this region is Yiddish. Yiddish is a language that has mix of a little bit of German, a little bit of Russian, a little bit of Ukrainian, but it's a Jewish language used in that area. And the dances can be called Hasidic as well, because klezmer music, Yiddish language, came from that particular area. So that's the important part, is wherever the Jews lived, this is where they took a little bit and they incorporated it in their own style. Yemenite dancing came from part of, they used to be the Byzantine Empire. Then there is Mizrahi dance, also came from the Middle East, and it uses a lot of hands to help express what they're trying to say. And then Israeli dance is a completely different style because, as we know, Israel is 74 years old, and once Israel was created, then the dancing was created with it. So it's a bit of a modern dance, I would say. And you will see that a lot at the weddings, you will see it a lot at the celebrations, birthdays. What is interesting about Jewish dance is the communal feel is absolutely amazing because Usually every Jewish holiday, we always joke about this. They tried to kill us, they didn't succeed, let's dance. So technically speaking, this is the feeling of happiness and joy is a very important part of the Jewish dancing. Traditionally, men used to dance separately and women used to dance separately as well. Nowadays, we do have programs where men dance with women. In other programs, you can dance with the woman, but you can hold a handkerchief in between of you, so you're technically not touching a woman, so you're okay to dance with her on a dance floor. Most of the traditional Hasidic dancing is done separately, sometimes even in separate rooms. Sometimes there's a divider that gets put in the room, and women are dancing on one side and men are dancing on the other. But again, part of the tradition is dancing to the music, being happy, no matter if you're dancing separately or together, rejoicing in culture, rejoicing in life, and rejoicing in happy occasions. Mazel Tov performs in so many different places. We have traveled to Italy, we have traveled to Mexico, to all of these places where we are invited to be part of the celebrations. We participate in different Jewish festivals and where other companies will come. And when you look out there, you see people not only loving the program, but also learning. You know, we teach people things about our culture. We love our audiences. We love interacting with them. Their eyes sparkle because they see something very special. They see part of their tradition, they see part of their lives, and also amazed by our skilled dancing. You know, we are ballet based in the beginning and then going into jazz modern, tap, and all of the other styles, but specifically international dance. As a choreographer of the company and as a choreographer in general, I love to pass on my craft to younger generation. And I absolutely love to see them learn and understand what I'm trying to give them. Just like people before gave that to me. Continuing the tradition, continuing the art of dancing and happiness, as well as traditions of the Jewish people.
We'll be back after this break. And now, a look back at a story done on South Korean music and dance from one of our colleagues here at CUNY TV. Our reporter, Susan Jun, talks about the beauty of traditional Korean dance as a way for some Korean Americans to keep their culture alive.
Dating back 5,000 years to the Gojoseon Kingdom, traditional Korean dance is a study in controlled and precise movements. A far cry from the look and sound of the current craze of K-pop. Still, there is a link between present and past in the precision of the choreography and the dramatic expression through music and dance, which has long been part of Korea's cultural heritage.
This all started from like shamanic rituals and Buddhism rituals, which has developed different style of dancing, preserving the beauty of the Korean dancing.
Donning customary Korean silk dresses called hanbok, dancers practice the ancient art form that's kept alive at the Korean Traditional Music and Dance Center in Flushing, Queens.
I've been living here 42 years. Yeah, more than I lived in Korea. So I want to connect through this dance.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Heels together, heels together.
Director of the center, Yusun Kang, teaches a hybrid of traditional and modern dances, constantly coming up with new creations while maintaining the core of ancient Korean dance.
The lines that we are creating is very curved, not straight too much. Everything has to be like, inside, inward, and don't express too much it has to be in you, but you have to express a little by little. That means you are releasing your joy and sadness, whatever that is in you.
자, keep breathing.
It requires entire body. It's not just outside of my body, but also inside. Yeah, and it's very fascinating to learn, how clever our ancestor was.
The rich history of ancient Korea is conveyed through the dances of the royal court, as seen in the striking fan dance and felt in the rhythmic folk music of the traditional Korean drums. An award-winning dancer and Queens College graduate, Kang was exposed to performance from a young age, watching her mother Sunsook Park, an accomplished and award-winning artist, perform pansori, Korean opera, and the gayugum, a traditional Korean stringed instrument developed in the 6th century. Park established the Korean Traditional Music and Dance Center in 1987 after coming to the U.S. from South Korea, hoping to spread awareness and appreciation for ancient Korean arts.
I think it's really important to keep up the old traditions. Without the old tradition, there's no new ones.
A concept that's not lost on the younger generation. Jihwan Choi, a senior at Queens College, has been playing the traditional Korean drums since the age of 8.
But I just really wanted to just embrace my culture and my origins and my roots, of Korean roots.
For NYU junior Hannah Kim, it's not as much about embracing her roots as it is about discovering them.
As a Korean American living and born in the United States, I feel like it's really hard to connect with your culture. And so I feel like an organization like this really immerses me and exposes me to the culture that I've never known and seen.
Kim, along with the rest of the center students, share that culture by performing at community events. Over the past 3 decades, the organization has sought to spread and preserve traditional Korean culture with thousands of performances throughout the tri-state area. And in connecting the past with the present, the future is not forgotten. At the center's 2nd studio on Long Island, there's a keen focus on teaching the very young, many of whom are 2nd and 3rd generation Korean Americans. Looking at and to the future, Kang hopes someday to open a Korean cultural school.
I think it's really important for me to spread it and teaching it, passed on to the next generations.
That's our show. If you want to know more about the guests we featured, check out our Instagram page at Shades of Us TV and online at tv.cuny.edu. I'm D.R.E.A.M. See you next time on Shades of Us.